Hold on.
Okay, it says this meeting's being live streamed.
Perfect.
That's so exciting. Um, we're live on YouTube with no viewers. That's right, everybody. Um, yes, preamble done. Okay, as we finish getting that set up, does anyone have any predictions as to who the final member of the jury is going to be?
Isaiah.
I
Just
see,
guessing.
I guess, from Isaiah, from Jen, and an affirming point from Andrew. Fun, some riveting stuff. Some riveting stuff. Stephen, do we have our next juror here? Slash, can we call Bryce?
And we call who?
Bryce.
Um, we can call Bryce, and our final juror is here.
Beautiful. Let's call Bryce first just to see if he's around. Because he will indeed have to vote. Bryce Douglas on the line.
I have Bryce from on the phone. Bryce, please cast your over. That was a Christmas Abbott reference.
From VB19, no less. I'm assuming by
My
this point
call
it's
has been forwarded to voice messaging system, so hopefully
gonna
he'll
lose my mind
be here
as
in
if
a
we
minute.
needed another reason to love the proceedings. Okay. Let's please welcome our final juror now. That's right. Zoe has placed third and is officially juror number 9. Moments ago, Isaiah became the final head of household and voted to evict Zoe. Um, with that said, let's bring in our final two, which Stephen might say we're going to wait a moment for because they're not in the waiting room.
I might say that, and
Wait,
I will say that.
did you say who won the first, like part one and part two?
Part one was won by Isaiah. Part two was won by Rachel. Alrighty, and we're waiting for them. And as we wait for them, I'm gonna call Bryce. This is a fun game.
All right, we have both of our final two here. Please welcome in our final two, Isaiah and Rachel.
Welcome, final two to finale night. We currently have 8 of our 9 jurors. Bryce is hopefully on his way. Um, final two and jurors, here's how tonight is going to work. Um, in just a moment, we're going to give each member of the final two a brief moment to address the jury. Final two, this is meant to be no more than 2 sentences just to say, hey, anything you'd like to preface. And then we are going to dive into our jury questioning. We will be starting with Kayla and moving through the order of eviction, with each juror being able to address one or both of you with any questions or statements that they would like. After that commences, we will have the two of you give your final pleas, where after that, the jury will cast your vote. Jury, please come into tonight keeping an open mind. Feel confident in the things that you do know about the game that has unfolded, but be open to new things that you might hear tonight, as you will be casting your vote for either Isaiah or Rachel to be the winner of Big Brother SS19. With that said, let's dive in. By a flip of a coin, we're going to have Rachel give your opening plea first, or opening statement.
Okay, I'll keep it quick. It's good to see you guys. I'll start by just throwing it out there that throughout the season, I stayed positioned within a power structure. I influenced major moves. I maintained strong relationships, and I adapted whenever my game was threatened. I won 2 HOHs and I was nominated 3 times, but I never became a final nominee until this final 3 right here. I was the only player in this game to be saved by another player with the power of veto, and that distinction is a statistic that only holds true to me in this game. I'll stop there, Scott. I see you rushing me.
Beautiful. Yes, yeah, just a brief, hey, what's up? Hello. But yes, that was great. Thank you so much, Rachel. Isaiah, your address to the jury.
Hi, jury. I'll try to keep it shorter than that. I just want to say, like, I played my ass off this season. I feel like I'll get into more, but I did win 3 HOHs and 1 power veto, and I took out 3 of the biggest players throughout this season, and we'll address that more in a minute. But I'm really nervous.
Wonderful. Then with that, we are going to dive into our jury questioning, starting with juror number 1. Kayla, the floor is yours.
Hey. Okay. So I have a question for both of you. So how did you actively and intentionally utilize each member of the jury for your game to get you to where you are now?
We will alternate the order of answers. So, Kayla, unless you have a preference on who goes first, we will start with Isaiah this time.
So, question, do you want me to go by, like, each juror or just, like, in general?
If it's too long to go for each juror, but I would prefer that just because I would like
Okay.
specifics because I was out first, so I don't know like the rest of the
Mhm.
order.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, so we'll start with you, Kayla. Like, very early on, I felt like you were one of my closest people in this game. We had our little trio with Elaine, which unfortunately got ended pretty swiftly. You were somebody who I felt really close with during the early stages of the game. And when you won power, I knew I was sitting pretty that week, and I was able to figure out what I needed to do to repair my game because I knew that I had that backup that week. And then we move on to Jared 2, who was Bryce. Bryce was somebody who, like, early on I tried to connect with, but we never really connected. And then around week 5, on the same week as your HOH, I went to Bryce and I was like, we need to lock in something because I felt like I wasn't in that powerful of a position, but I knew Bryce was. So I wanted Bryce to feel like he had me in his back pocket. So that way, moving forward, he would protect me, but then he would always be taken out before me. Me and Bryce became very close, and we had multiple alliances together. And he was somebody I really needed in the game for the time that I had him. And then we move on to juror number 3, which is Ryan. And Ryan and I feel like had like a little bit of an interesting relationship. He nominated me, and I was really mad for a while. But then I chose to like back off, and I approached him, and I was gassing him up about making a big move because I could read that that was the kind of player he was, and I wanted him, if he ever got into power again, he wouldn't look at Isaiah, he would look at bigger people. That's what I spent several weeks trying to build up, so that way when he did win HOH, he wouldn't nominate me for a second time, and he didn't. And then we move on to the 4th juror, which was Jen. And Jen was somebody I really liked early on, but I feel like as the game went on, we just like started drifting almost, it felt like. And at a certain point, it was my final 9 HOH. I was like, do I put up Jen or do I put up somebody else? And I was like, is it worth it to risk not getting my target out by keeping Jen off the block? But then I had to think Jen has other people she would prioritize. So while Jen was a very useful ally for me during the early stages of the game, I realized that I had to do something in order to ensure that I would get what I wanted, even though it would piss off Jen, who was somebody I did feel close to at that point. And then we move on to Justin. Justin was like one of my closest allies in this game. We connected on day 1. We had our little trio with Rachel with Rachel, and he was somebody who I felt very, very close to, and I knew that he saw me as somebody who was willing to play just as hard as him. And we were collaborating a lot on what to do with specific votes and everything. He was somebody I always knew I could go to, and he would give me like a clear opinion that made sense. And then we move on to the final 6, which was Trista. Trista was somebody that I honestly felt really close to, but I don't think a lot of people realized that we were close to. She came to me, I think, week 2, I said, let's work together. And at first I was like a little bit suspicious because it was like right after I got picked for a veto. So I was like, she's just trying to with me to like get me to use a veto on her. But then as we talked more, I actually got to collaborate with her, and I realized that like she actually was like somebody who like would have my back, and I knew that I could rely on her for like a lot of stages. But then at a certain point, it just made more sense for my game for her to go. And then Andrew at the final five. Andrew was somebody early on who I didn't feel really strong with, but then I started to build a relationship. But then I won the final nine HOH, and I needed to figure out who to put up. I wanted Ryan out, but I didn't really have any other enemies. So I made up a lie about being told that Andrew was coming after me. So that way, when I put him on the block, it would seem like I was like almost like manipulated into going after him. And then because of that, they gave me wiggle room after I nominated him to realign myself with him and be safe if he ever came into power, which he did at the final seven double eviction. We had a deal where he wouldn't put me up and I wouldn't put him up. And I was expected to go up that week. Everybody thought I was, but then I didn't touch the block, and it was a huge upset because nobody expected it because I put in the work to repair that relationship with him after I damaged it by nominating him at the final nine. And then Adrian. Adrian was somebody who very early on I like felt close with too. But the issue was I noticed towards the end game, he started getting closer with people like Rachel and Zoe. Zoe told me about the final two that they had together. He used a veto on Rachel, expecting me to be the replacement nominee. So I knew that I was no longer a priority for Adrian. So then it became, how long should I keep Adrian around? How long is he going to benefit me? And unfortunately, I wasn't the one who took him out, but I had the ability to, I I worked to keep him around until I found it best. And yeah, and then we move on to Zoe. And Zoe, of all the jurors, was the person who helped my game the most. At final nine, well, okay, so I formed an alliance with Bryce and Zoe very early on, like week five. And I was loyal to that alliance until Zoe used the veto on Rachel and got Bryce backdoored. And I was like, fully, like, I didn't know what to think. And then going into the final nine, I was like, do I take revenge on Zoe for basically betraying our alliance? But I was like, no, I'm going to lock in something more official with Zoe. So that round, me and Zoe made a final three deal that we would take each other to the final three no matter what. And that's when me and Zoe became really the power duo for the rest of the game. Nobody saw us as the duo that we were, but we were always protecting each other. And I was never putting her up. She was never going to put me up. And at the final six, we locked in an official final two, which I unfortunately went back on at the final three. That's because she was just so kick ass. And I saw the game that she was playing because I played it right beside her. And I knew she was just so good. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Isaiah. Rachel, the floor is yours.
Okay, I'll try to keep it a little bit shorter. Kayla, I would say for you, when you nominated me on your HOH round, I think that that just gave me a target in this game. Whereas before, I didn't really have one in my HOH reign. I really just nominated people who spoke to us less. The pre-jury was very much about not rocking the boat. But when you nominated me on your reign, that gave me a target and something to spread to other people to make them trust me. So that was how you benefited my game. The next year being Bryce. Bryce benefited my game because I mentioned to him about feeling this distrust towards you, which caused him to leak his alliance to me that had you, Jen, and Andrew in it. And that's where he told me he wanted to make an alliance called the Icebreakers with me, Zoe, Ryan, and Justin. And he wanted to backdoor Jen. So that was sort of how that plan came up with the backdoor on Jen when he attempted it. It didn't work out, but we were all in on that plan. So that was how Bryce benefited my game. Also, just by being a big threat that could be pushed ahead of me. After Bryce, let me see, would be Ryan. Ryan, similarly to Kayla, to you, gave me a target, somebody to go after. Ryan completely betrayed me. I really viewed Ryan as one of my closest allies in the pre-jury phase. I think I picked him for a house guest choice, and he nominated me with Justin, who was one of my closest allies in the game, which was the worst case scenario for me. So I went to everybody, similar how I did for you, Kayla, and I was like, oh my gosh, Ryan needs to go, Ryan needs to go, Ryan needs to go. And I think that me spreading that about both of you allowed for me not even having to be the one to take you guys out, but my close allies taking you out for me. When Zoe put up Kayla, which I think maybe was more to benefit for me, because Kayla, you nominated me, and Isaiah putting up Ryan when Ryan, you had just nominated me, which I also think could have benefited me more. The next year would be Jen. Jen, I think you benefited my game by being a shield in that sense that I kept on spreading to people. Wow, Jen has such good campaigns. She's so good at talking. She has a lot of social pull with that other side of the house. We need to get her out. And that vote was really close when you went home. It was 3-2. And I remember that vote, I think it was me me and Isaiah, I think, voting. And we thought that we would Isaiah thought that we had Adrian with us, and I knew that we didn't. So I took it within me to convince Zoe to vote with us when I think initially she was going to swing the other way. And that's how you ended up going there. The next would be Justin. Justin, I mean, you were like my ride or die for a lot of this game, and you benefited my game a lot because we were seen as a duo, but you were seen as a bigger threat than me. So I knew that anytime we were going to get nominated together, you were always going to go home before me, even though I didn't even end up being a final nominee to see that happen. But I knew that you were going to keep me safe when you won, you were going to vote with me, and you were going to go home before me. So you were like the perfect ally for me. Next would be Trista. Trista, you benefited my game because I feel like when I won that HOH and we came up with a plan between me, you, and Andrew to use that battle pass on you, that sort of made us become closer and start a game relationship when we didn't really have one before. And then similarly, when I was in on the plan to backdoor Jen on Bryce's HOH week, I technically won that veto competition and I could have taken the veto from you, but I didn't. And I let you have that. And I think that also went to show that we were working together. And I think that maybe pulled you in with me. Next would be Andrew. Similarly, we had that little Rat Pack group for a little bit that I think we ended up working together for a while, but then we obviously ended up just having different allies, went different routes, which is unfortunate. But you were helpful to me at that beginning portion of the game for sure, using the battle pass to what benefited with me as well when we would coordinate. And then in the jury phase, you benefited me because you were this huge shield. It was Andrew's winning these vetoes. Oh my gosh. And some of those vetoes I did throw. And I think because there was always another, I was always safe from whoever the HOH was. And I knew that I wasn't going to be the person nominated instead. So keeping you around as a target was good for my game. Next was Adrian. Adrian, you benefited my game because I would keep you safe all of those times when you were up against someone else. And you eventually repaid the favor by saving me with the HOH on Andrew's saving me the veto on Andrew's HOH reign and the double eviction when I don't think I was going home anyway, but it showed trust between us and it was showed that you were willing to even upset Andrew in doing that because I don't think Andrew was too happy with that decision. So that's how I used you to benefit my game. And then lastly, Zoe. Similarly, Zoe also is the other player who used the veto on me when her number one ally was going to be the renomination. But we became close and she understood why it made sense. We talked about it and it strengthened our bond so much that Zoe became one of my like really close allies throughout the jury portion of the game. And I was able to use her in that sense that she was winning some of these late game competitions and kept me safe every time. Maybe I didn't keep it shorter, but that's my answer.
All right. Thank you, Rachel and Isaiah. Thank you, Kayla. Are you all set with that? Okay. Bryce, we are still waiting on. But while he is gone, it's juror number 2. We'll move on to Ryan, it's juror number 3. Feel free to address one or both of Rachel.
Okay. Hi, guys. Congrats on making it this far. I'm sorry for putting both of you up, but this is how it went. So I think a big part of this game, we talk about expecting the unexpected. I was kind of somebody who played like that a little bit, I think. But I'm curious to hear because I feel a big part of that is knowing your opponents, and I want to hear what you guys think of each other. If you could tell me some strengths and weaknesses about each other.
Okay, I think I'm supposed to go first, right, Scott? We switch, I think. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Strengths for Isaiah's game. I think Isaiah did a good job staying off the block a lot. Can be viewed as a strength and also viewed as a weakness. Some could view it as floating for a lot of the game. However, he also was able to pull off a lot of end game competitions when he needed to. But staying off the block as well as just showed that he had good social relationships in the game. He won very important competitions at the end of the game. I would say those are the strengths of Isaiah's game, social and the physical. I would say weaknesses, I think similar to what I said before, maybe he was viewed as a bit of a floater earlier on. He just didn't seem to be as much of a main character in what was happening in the house for a lot of maybe the beginning and the middle of the game. He really emerged more towards the end. And I think that I was more open and out there being nominated and winning competitions and growing my target where Isaiah was able to lay low for a lot longer than I was. And I think I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Thank you, Rachel. Isaiah, you're up.
Okay. So some strengths about Rachel's game are that she was perfectly able to shield herself behind so many people. She always had people who were going to be targeted ahead of her. Like she said with Justin, Justin was always going to go home before her. And there were several examples of people who were going to be shields for her. But the weaknesses I feel like she had in this game were that she wasn't as connected as she may seem. A lot of people talked about how Rachel wouldn't respond to them, how she was often seen as unresponsive, and she was nominated more times than me. I think she touched the block, what, 3 or 4 times? I touched the block twice, and I went 10 weeks without touching the block from week 3 all the way into the final 4. I think that her weaknesses are that she wasn't able to avoid the block. She wasn't able to talk herself out of certain situations where she could be in danger. Like she wasn't going next to Justin, but still she was in jeopardy on the block. And it's things like that that I think are weaknesses in her game compared to mine, where I was never really in jeopardy because I was never on the block. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Juror number 4, Jen, the floor is yours now.
Hello, congrats to you both. This was like such a hard game, so I'm very impressed that you both got to the end. You don't need to give an explanation because I feel like you already said it. But I'd love for you to rank the jurors from like the lowest threat to your game and the biggest threat to your game.
Okay. Okay. I'm just like, it's gonna be like hard to like picture it like one at a time, but I'll go first juror. I feel like who was the lowest threat to my game was Zoe, just because me and her were locked in to the final 2. She was taking me to 2 no matter what. And she was somebody I knew who always had my back. She was always protecting me like final 4. When she kept me over Adrian, that was a huge thing. So she was the lowest threat to my game in that sense, but obviously I feel like she would have worked my ass in this final 2. And then the next one I would say was Trista, because Trista was somebody I felt like I had a really strong relationship with in this game. And I don't think she was coming after me anytime soon, even when she did go home. And then I'd give it to Justin after that, because Justin, he was kind of my shield. Like he was somebody who was like very, very closely aligned with me. But similar to Rachel, he was always going home before me if it came down to that. And then number 4 would be Adrian, because Adrian was somebody who I did feel closely aligned with for the first half of the game. But during the second half of the game, I did feel like Adrian was kind of dangerous to my game because I knew he had a final 2 with Zoe. I knew he was also getting taken to the final 2 by Rachel. Those are my 2 closest allies, who I also knew would take me to the final 2 over each other, but Rachel would take Adrian over me. So he was the next biggest threat for my game. And then number 5, I would give to Kayla. Kayla was somebody I was working really closely with early on in the game, but she was just so likable. Like every time I talked to somebody, they were like, I like Kayla. And I did start to get paranoid. I was like, maybe like Kayla doesn't like me as much because everybody likes Kayla. So that was really dangerous for my game. But I did feel really close to her. And then the next person, I think am I at 6 or am I at 7? I'm at 6, I think. Okay, number 6, I would Rachel, I hate you. Okay. Number 6, I would give to number 6, I would give to Bryce, because Bryce, I did feel really close to. We obviously had like our connection, but I felt like he wasn't coming after me anytime soon, and he was the perfect shield. Like there was no way I'd ever go home next to Bryce, and that was perfect for my game. And I knew that if he came into power, he's protecting me. And then number 7, I'm gonna give it to Jen. Jen was somebody who I felt very close early on. I called her my mom. Like that was our connection, and I just noticed that like she was really, really connected to other people that I wasn't necessarily as connected to. And that really scared me because I felt like if she came into power, either she's gonna come after me or she's gonna come after my allies. And that made her very dangerous for my game. And then number 8, I have to give to Andrew, just because he was such a force in this game that I just couldn't, like nobody could take him out. Like it took until the final 5 to get Andrew out of this game. And he was coming after my allies. I thought like, he wasn't coming after me, but like for a minute he probably was. And he was just like such a force and it was so dangerous. And then number 9, I have to give to none other than Mr. Ryan. He went after me. Well, not he didn't go after me, but he nominated me week 3. And then week 8, he won HOH, and he put up 3 of my closest allies. I felt like if he got HOH again, I wouldn't necessarily be safe again. So he was extremely dangerous for my game, and I knew that he had connections with people like Zoe, I was trying to get closer with at that point, and he was just so dangerous for my game. So he had to go when he did, and thank God he did.
Okay. Can I ask, do you mean biggest threats in terms of who would take me out, or biggest threats in terms of who would beat me in the end?
Who would beat you in the end?
Okay. And you also mentioned not wanting explanations, so you don't want me to explain? I know Isaiah did.
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Were we not supposed to give explanations? I'm sorry.
I did say no, but you can give. I feel like this will help for people like to pick someone at the end to vote for. So
Okay. Biggest threats to win. Okay, we're going biggest threats to win. I think Andrew was by far the biggest threat to win, in my opinion. I felt like he had a lot of his allies on the jury. I felt like he had hella competition wins. He was just like the cockroach with 9 lives, or what? No, the cat with 9 lives. And I think Andrew was definitely the biggest threat to win. After Andrew, I think Zoe was the biggest threat to win. I think Zoe is just a super likable person. I think she also had a lot of competition wins. I think she was able to maneuver really well, work with a lot of different people, and she even cut her number one ally, which is kind of cunty, like she kind of ate, but yeah, that's the queen. She was fierce. After Zoe, it's tough because I mean, there's people who got out before other people, but then there's also just like people I think like would have been strong if they stayed in. Um, hmm. I think I could have seen Ryan next. I think Ryan definitely could have also won this game with the way he was playing. Honestly, Ryan, I feel like if Ryan threw that HOH maybe instead of putting me and Justin up, like he was in like a golden spot. And I think he would have made it a lot farther. But it's okay. But I just think you definitely have potential to win. Um Next, I think I would give it to I think Jen, I would give it to you. I think you were just super likable. Again, would have had a lot of allies in the jury supporting you. You were able to get off with that little reset cheat code thing, and being able to make the end after being an attempted backdoor plan on like the first like week of jury, I think would have been a really cool story arc. After I would probably give it to Justin. A lot of people viewed him as a big threat. And I think that if he made the end, people would have had to reward him for being such a big threat. The alleged big threat that Justin was. And then I think I would give it to, I don't know, this is hard. I guess I'll give it to Trista. Trista won hella vetoes to save herself. She also had that underdog story. She was nominated almost every week of the pre-jury, and she made it to jury, and not only made it to jury, but made it to like final 6. So that was pretty cool for her. And next I'll give to Adrian. Adrian was nominated, I think, what did I have in my notes? Like 6 times. And survived the block. I think he only had 4 votes to evict against him throughout the season after being nominated 6 times, which I thought was really impressive too. Would have had that underdog story. Then I'll give it to Kayla. Kayla, it's hard because I didn't get to see you play much for the jury phase, and the pre-jury phase was like so easy, but everybody liked you a lot. So I think you definitely have potential to do well, and that was part of why when you put me up, I was telling everybody like, damn, she's connected to everyone else, and that's why she didn't have an option because I felt connected to you too. So I was like, okay, Kayla just has a lot of allies. And then last, I'll give to Bryce. Bryce isn't here, so womp womp. But yeah.
thank you. Good luck.
Alrighty, thank you, Jen. We're moving on to juror number 5, Justin. The floor is all yours.
I want to say congratulations to you both. As mentioned, us 3 did work together pretty closely. I don't know if we made the alliance day 1, but the alliance was pretty much unspoken day 1. They might not know you guys have actually played a game together before, which kind of leads me into my question. You guys were like known quantities to each other. And a lot of the time, especially like in the end game while I was there, I feel like a lot of the choices that we were making in game moves, we were all kind of making together because I mean, it just made sense. Like we were all benefiting from the same things. So I really want to know, like, and you can give like little explanations, but like give me like a couple of like the main bullet points of what stands out for you specifically versus the other one. Like what did I, Rachel, do? What did I, Isaiah, do that the other one can't claim credit for? Because I do feel like a lot of the decisions and moves and whatever, like we probably all kind of correlated or thought together, but like what's standing out for each of your games? That's what I want to know.
Wonderful. We will start with Rachel.
It's hard because, like you said, we did collaborate on a lot of things. I guess I would say I think I mainly had more of an influence with, I would say, Jen's eviction. Because like I said, I felt like in that round, Isaiah had the false perception that Adrian was going to be voting with us. But I knew from my relationship with Adrian, he told me that he was evicting Trista and was just telling Isaiah the opposite. So I was sort of able to figure that out and then realize, hey, we need to get Zoe on this too, or else we're not going to have the numbers to be able to do that. And then similarly, I think Isaiah may have been leaning towards evicting Adrian over Trista when Trista and Adrian were on the block together. And I was trying to convince him to evict Trista instead, which benefited me because Adrian just saved me with the veto. And then lastly, I think I would just say that round when it was the burning up HOH where you had to like move to a different square and like cut people off. Me, Justin, and Isaiah were like on call during that, all sort of like teaming it together. And Justin was in the middle and could have gone either way, but like we sort of agreed, let's give it to Isaiah, let him get the blood on his hands. And he went after Ryan and Andrew, which we would have done the same exact thing. And I think Ryan going again, I think did benefit my game more because Ryan, I think after putting me and Justin up, like there was really no way of salvaging our game relationship, whereas maybe Isaiah and Ryan still could have since Ryan didn't touch Isaiah that round.
Okay, thank you. So what I'll touch on is actually the burning of HOH for the first one. I actually kind of was like begging, like throw this HOH to me because I did want to get the blood on my hands, but I was able to build connections outside of that to where even after I did get the blood on my hands, I feel as though I was the most protected person within our alliance moving forward because like we saw, like I didn't touch the block until Final Four when Rachel was HOH. And another thing that I did that benefited me more was during like I was always like kind of like shading Rachel a little bit, and I was saying how like I don't really feel like she's doing much of anything. But then I was also simultaneously being like, well, there's the Justin and Rachel duo. We were a three, but nobody knew that I was like as tight in that three with y'all. So I was able to separate myself from them, and that gave me a lot more leverage in the game. And it may have seemed like we were playing all the same game, but I was building a game outside of the three, so that way, no matter what, I would be sitting in the end game. And then the other thing I feel like I did was kind of like I just locked in more and was able to like actually do things that benefited me. Like for example, during the Andrew HOH when I got rid of Andrew going was best for Isaiah compared to anybody else because I knew at that point Isaiah was sitting in the final two as long as Adrian didn't win any final four competitions because Zoe and Rachel were both taking me to two over each other. And Rachel would have evicted me over Adrian, but as long as that wasn't a possibility for Rachel to cast that vote at the final four, I was sitting in the final two no matter what. And that was something that I navigated better than Rachel because I had a straight path to the end game that I myself set up exactly for Isaiah. And I don't think anybody else was that successful with that.
Thank you guys. Again, I'm very proud. If I could have picked a final two, it would have been y'all too. So congratulations.
Thanks, Justin. Trista, the floor is yours. You can address one or both of Rachel and Isaiah.
Congrats, you two. My question is for both of you. What was the most important decision you made in your game? And what would have happened if you made the opposite decision?
Okay, I think I'm supposed to go first. Um, Honestly, I feel like the most important decision I made in the game was getting rid of Ryan because when I got rid of Ryan, I was in the final eight where I had working relationships with every single person besides Jen, and Jen went home the next week. And because I was able to repair my relationship with Andrew, I had my trio with Rachel and Justin. I was locked in with Zoe. Adrian and I had a working relationship. Trista was somebody I'd worked closely with for a lot of the game. So I knew I was sitting in the best position in the house as long as Ryan went home because not only was he coming after me, but he was coming after the people. Like, I don't know if he was coming after me, but I knew he was at least going to nominate me or the people who were protecting me the most in the game. So by taking him out, I was able to position myself in the perfect spot to get to this end game and sit in these final two chairs. That was the most important decision I made. And I don't think I would be sitting here if I had taken anybody else out that week.
For me, I think the most important decision that I think I made would be instead of forgiving Kayla for putting me up, understanding that she wanted it to just be for optics, being like, okay, we can still work together, done, and not really complain about it to everyone, just let it go, like I really could have done. I decided to instead use my the whatever was just displayed between me and Kayla, the tension between me and Kayla, to build trust with other people in the house. And I think that that is what really set me up in the game when I went to Bryce with it, when Bryce proposed our alliance and then let me in on the plan to backdoor Jen. And then all of this falling into place led me to become even tighter with Zoe, who I really didn't have much of a relationship with at all in the pre-jury. So I think that that sort of was the domino effect for that. And had I not made that decision, then I still could have preserved a relationship with Kayla, but I think a lot of the house guests wouldn't have known where my head was at. And I think that they wouldn't have trusted me or wanted to work with me as much. We wouldn't have been able to collaborate as much as we did if they didn't know who my targets were at all times. So I think that sort of was the point in the game where I took it upon myself to make it clear this is who I'm targeting. If you keep me around, I'm going after this person and not you.
Thank you, Trista. Andrew, you're up.
Hello, it's the cockroach of the season, apparently. But my question is for each of you. Name one thing you're proud of in your game and one thing you're not so proud about in your game.
We are going to start with Isaiah.
Okay, I went first last
Rachel,
time,
Oh,
but
sorry.
okay.
Rachel.
Like I said, Rachel. Sorry, we're dealing with missing jurors.
Okay, I'm thinking on this one. This is hard. Something that I'm proud of. I think I would say I'm proud of myself for winning competitions early on in the season. A lot of times when I play these Big Brother games, I throw competitions early on because I don't want to make myself a target. I think that it caused me, yes, to maybe touch the block a little bit more, but I still made it here and I still survived each time. And it was fun playing more aggressively when usually I keep my cards a lot closer to my chest and I play with throwing the competitions and not winning things early on. I'm proud of myself for winning things early on because that's not something that I usually do because I worry that it'll put me on people's radars too much. Something I'm not as proud of, I think probably would be the fact that I wasn't able to salvage the relationship with Kayla or Ryan, even though I think it was the smart decision. You know, I think smart is different from proud. I think it was still the smart decision to do what I did and go after them after they put me up. But I'm not necessarily proud of it because I am not somebody who likes to hold a grudge. I mainly put that on like for show just to like gain trust with other people. And I feel like it was the smart decision, but not something I'm proud of because I do like them both as people. And in another world, would have loved to work with them. But I think in this game, I saw that I needed to keep that grudge, keep them as targets for myself, and that's what would have helped my relationships best with other house guests. So that's my answer.
Okay, I'm assuming it's my turn now. Okay, my proudest achievement in this game was I touched the block week 3 for the first time, but then I made it all the way into the final 4 without ever touching the block again. And the veto was used every single week, and there were multiple weeks where there had to be 3 initial nominees. I don't know how many that is, but that is like at least like 30 people or so. That 30 times or so I could have got on the block, but I didn't. And I'm very proud of that because normally I do make myself such a big target to where I am like going on the block because people want to take me out. And I guess my like least proud achievement would be like during the pre-jury, like I was like trying to flip some votes and was being a little bit chaotic. And I feel like that was like part of my strategy, but I feel like it kind of like put me on the outs a little bit more than I had intended it for it to do. So like I wasn't proud of that, but I did pick it back up. But I in the moment I was like, what are you doing, Isaiah?
Thank you, Isaiah. Moving on, and we're assuming you're good thumbs up. Beautiful. We are moving on to Adrian. Adrian, the floor is yours.
Congratulations, you two. Long time no see. I just want to ask both of you, what was the biggest setback you faced in this game? How did you overcome it? And how did that moment shape your path to the very end where you're seated right now?
Okay, I think I'm first this time. And honestly, the setback that I found the biggest was losing Helene. Helene, like day one, me and her locked in. She was my closest ally. Nobody knew it. And when she went home, oh, I was pissed. I was really pissed. But I had to like put on a fake face. I was like, it's fine. Like she was going home anyways. So like every single person who like was supposed to help me flip that vote that didn't. Oh, I was so mad, but I calmed myself down. But that was definitely my biggest setback because I knew she'd have my back 100%. And I also knew that she didn't have many connections. So for me, having that one person who didn't have as many connections that I could use to have in my back pocket was extremely, extremely valuable. So losing that week 4, I was like, I don't know what to do. But that was the turning point where I really started to play harder. That was week 5 on Kayla's HOH where I started to build stronger relationships. I started to cut more deals, position myself to be one of the best positioned players in the post jury, and I feel like that showed as my like game. I feel like everybody saw like pre jury Isaiah and post jury Isaiah, and they were very different. But post jury was very much more successful because Helene went home, and I was able to repair and realize if you're doing something wrong, Isaiah, you need to fix this shit now, or you're not gonna have any longevity.
Okay, my biggest setback, while you could think that it may have been losing Justin in the double because that definitely was a setback. I think that Justin was probably going to go at some point around there regardless, and I think him going actually did strengthen my position in the game because I no longer had that duo tethered to me. I think my biggest setback would be getting clocked as a duo so early on by Ryan when Ryan put us up on the block. I think that was when I really realized like, oh shit, we could be in trouble because we were not expecting to get clocked that early. That was definitely my biggest setback in the game. And it really gave me a rude awakening, even though obviously alarm bells already went off when I was nominated by Kayla. I felt like this nomination from Ryan felt different. It felt like, oh shit, now before with Kayla, I was next to two less active players with a plan to save me with the battle pass. No big deal, I'll be fine. But when Ryan put me up next to Justin, I was worried that I was going to lose Justin. I basically lost Ryan, who I viewed as a tight ally, and then I ended up losing Bryce that week. So I lost basically, well, I didn't lose Justin, but I felt like I lost 2 allies that week with Bryce going home there. But I still think that even with Bryce going home there, it was still the best outcome for that week for me, given me and Justin as starting initial nominees. Getting Zoe to use the veto on me, I think really was, even though I was going to stay against Justin, I didn't want me or Justin to go home. So I think between the options for to go home between me, Justin, or Bryce, Bryce was the ideal option to go out of those three. So it was a big setback because I lost an ally and a big shield in the game, but I feel like I was still able to bounce back. And if anything, it made me, Justin, and Zoe lock the fuck in.
All right, thank you. Zoe, as our last evicted house guest here, we know you've been waiting a long time to have your first chance to address Rachel and Isaiah since being evicted. The floor is yours.
Okay. My question is, and I would like to hear as little explanation as possible. I want you to own both parts of this answer. What is the single best move you made in this game? And what is the worst move you made in this game?
Rachel, I do believe you are first this time.
You can take a moment to think about it if you need.
This is a hard question. Damn. Okay. Um, shit. Okay. I'm still getting myself together. Isaiah's lucky he gets to think about this one. Damn it. I think my best move in the game. I think my best move in the game would be being able to bounce back from Ryan's nomination on me and Justin. I think that put me straight in the center. It felt like me and Justin were fucked. We were like, oh no, one of us is going home. There's no way out of it. And by the grace of God, our hero Zoe saves the day and was able to prevent that from happening through, I think, our relationship. So I think that was probably my best move, was locking in with you at the jury, honestly, Zoe, because I feel like had that not happened, like had we not locked it, we really didn't talk at all in the pre-jury. Just to put it into perspective, when I won the HOH in the pre-jury, like Zoe was almost one of my nominees because we did not talk. And then at the jury phase, like I think my my best move would be locking in with Zoe at jury, getting her to use that veto on me, getting me and Justin out of that sticky ass situation, and securing Zoe as a close ally. That was probably my best move because then Zoe and I were able to lock in and keep each other safe throughout all the way up until the final three, right? So I would say
And
that.
then your worst move.
And then my worst, right? You said no explanation. My bad. My worst move. My worst move. I think. It's tricky. It's tricky. My worst move. I mean. Okay. I think my worst move, it's hard to say it's like a move, but I think my worst move would be not talking as much to people I wasn't working with. I think that I definitely should have still been talking to people, but it's like I didn't want to leave vote people out with a sour taste in their mouths. So I tried to really direct my energy towards the people I was working with. But I feel like maybe a poor decision would be losing that relationship with Andrew because, for example, he ended up winning that double HOH and put me and Justin up on the block. And maybe I could have avoided that had I still kept talking to Andrew. But in my opinion, I was like, I'm just not working with you. And I didn't want to lie and pretend like we were. So I would say that was my worst move. I think I could have maintained social relationships with people I wasn't working with in a way where they didn't feel burned. And I definitely wish that was something that I did better with my game.
Okay, I'm assuming it's my turn now. And I think my best move, honestly, was I feel like the strongest move for my game was at 5 when I won the HOH and Beetle to take Andrew out. Just because from that point forward, I knew I was basically guaranteed final two. Zoe was taking me to two because we had been a duo for the entire post story of the season. And Rachel, I knew would always take me over Zoe. So as long as I can make sure that Rachel wasn't casting that vote, if I was ever sitting next to Adrian, I would be in these final two chairs no matter what. And I feel like that was the most pivotal move from my game. And I think the worst move from my game, honestly, was when I put Jen up at the final 9 because I thought that I had because the reason that I put Jen up was because I was like, she's gonna prioritize other people over me. But we did still have like a little bit of a connection there. And the other person I was considering putting up there was Adrian. So in a way, I wish I had put up Adrian that week, just so that way, going into like final 8, I don't know, Jen would have still had my back, whereas Adrian stopped having my back around that time anyways. He was prioritizing Zoe. I knew about their final 2. He was prioritizing Rachel, using the veto on Rachel under the premise that I was going on the block. So I had wished that like I put Adrian on that block instead, given what I know now about his actions moving forward. So I think that was my worst move because he didn't have my back, whereas Jen might have.
All right. Thank you both very much, and all the jurors, for asking your questions. Now is your last chance for we have our final 2 final pleas. Rachel and Isaiah, you'll each now have up to 3 minutes, which will be timed, to give your final case to the jury. This is anything that you feel like was not addressed within the jury questions, anything that you want to re-emphasize before we go into the vote next for a winner. So, Isaiah, you did just finish that question off, so you will start this one up first. I will give you a 1 for a 1 minute left when you have that. And then I'll do this as a wrap it up when you have 10 seconds left, and we will cut you off at 3 minutes. Don't need to use the whole time, but we will be timing you. And Isaiah, whenever you're ready, you may start.
Okay. Coming into this game, I thought I was prepared, but I was not. I had a strategy that I saw as foolproof, which is to try to play a strong social game while also going against the house norms and being outspoken about things that didn't matter. I wanted to set myself up early on to get the reputation where he knew I wasn't afraid to fight for things and showed all my cards. But this wasn't necessarily true. I was actually very good at hiding my cards. On day 2, there was a trio with Rachel, Justin, and myself. I also built strong relationships with Kayla and Helene early on. I thought I was sitting pretty for the pre-jury, but then I got nominated week 3, and the following week, my number 1 ally, Helene, got evicted. I had to start playing harder and reposition myself. I knew I needed to cling on to powerful social players if I wanted to have any longevity in the game. That was when I made the Lobsters alliance with Kayla, Justin, and Bryce. That alliance flopped, but it put me in the good graces of Bryce, which was important. I started to use Bryce as my shield. I wanted him to feel like he had me in his back pocket, because as long as he believed that, he would protect me, but also be taken out before me. Week 7, Zoe ended up gunning for Kayla, and this was the week I decided it was time I had to sacrifice her. But I needed to do so as clean as possible. So when the vote came around, I started to spread that she wasn't going, but made it clear that she was going, but made it clear that it wasn't what I wanted. So that way, Bryce and Justin would get more heat for the vote than me, even though I contributed equally as much, if not more, to that specific vote. I ended up forming a trio with Zoe and Bryce, and a week or 2 following, Zoe turned on that alliance and blindsided Bryce. I needed to get revenge, so I walked in and won the final 9 HOHs. And my initial plan was to take a shot at Zoe, but then I realized I could use her more. So I proposed a deal with her that no matter what, we take each other to the final 3. This put me in an extremely powerful position because I had my trio, I had my deal with Zoe, and was aligned with Tristan and Adrian at this point. Going into the final 8, we took out Jen, who's the best person for me to go, because I had just put her on the block, and she kind of made it very clear to me that she had no intention to work with me moving forward, versus Andrew, who I did damage control with. I made up lies saying that I heard Andrew was after me, so that way, if he wasn't after me, he would view it as me getting manipulated into coming for him, and that would give me more room to realign myself with him and cut a deal to protect each other moving forward. This proved to be very useful because in the double eviction, Andrew nominated 3 people, and everyone expected me to go up, but I was one of the 2 vulnerable people that round to not touch the block. Zoe won the final 6 HOHs, and I knew immediately I was in the final 5. This round, Zoe and I made an official final 2, and I knew I was in the perfect position. We took out Tristan this week, and heading into 5, I was able to win both HOH and veto to send home Andrew, but also secure myself a spot in the final 2. As long as Adrian didn't win any of the final 4 comps, I was sitting in 2, because both girls were more loyal to me than they were to each other, but I made it feel as if it was actually the opposite, and they weren't as loyal to me. I was very strategic in this game with how I managed my threat level, but also how I presented my cards. I always had an incredible read on the game, and I was not afraid to tell people things that they didn't want to hear, just so when I was telling things that they did want to hear, they believed that was the truth. And that helped me be able to make such big moves and get away with this, such as taking out Andrew and Ryan, and still being amongst one of the best position players in the house. I won 3 HOHs and 1 veto, got nominated week 3, and was able to go 10 weeks before I touched the block again. in the final four, showcasing just how well-rounded my game was, and I wrapped it up by evicting my closest ally at the final game because she
Thank you,
wouldn't crack my
Isaiah.
ass.
Thank you very much. All right, Rachel, the floor is yours again. I'll give you a 1 minute warning and then I'll wrap it up at 10 seconds. Time will start when you begin talking.
I've been playing Instagram Big Brother games for about 5 or 6 years, and coming into the game, I already had a big reputation for winning a lot of the games I play. The only people who knew that were Justin and Isaiah. Justin and I never played together before, but Isaiah and I go way back. Our history's always been rocky because I usually end up winning the games that we play, so I knew that he easily could become my downfall. Because of that, I prioritized building trust with him immediately through our duo chat and later with our trio chat with Justin, and that helped us navigate the pre-jury phase smoothly. During the pre-jury, I won an HOH and took out Helene while strengthening relationships across the house. The following week, Kayla nominated me, which showed me I was expendable to her despite keeping her safe earlier. I used that moment to shift perception and plant seeds that benefited my game moving forward. I had already been pushing the idea that Bryce and Zoe were a duo, so when Bryce won HOH, I was concerned. Instead, he brought me into his plans and formed the Icebreakers Alliance with me, Zoe, Justin, and Ryan. That alliance protected me through multiple rounds, including Bryce's HOH and Zoe's HOH, which Zoe's HOH resulted in an elimination that I felt ultimately benefited my position. Ryan's HOH was my worst case scenario when he nominated Justin and me together, exposing us as a duo. Zoe won the veto and chose to save me, even knowing her closest ally was going up, and that strengthened our bond and led to a news trio between me, Justin, and Zoe. From there, I helped coordinate Isaiah's HOH to help get Ryan out after he directly threatened mine and Justin's games. Justin's HOH was next, where we took out Jen, weakening another strong pair of her and Andrew, and getting Zoe to swing on the 3-2 vote on her. During the double eviction, Andrew eliminated Justin, but something to note too was Adrian won the veto and saved me and kept my game alive. Zoe's next HOH kept me safe again, and I convinced Isaiah to target Trista instead of Adrian, since Adrian just saved me with the veto. Soon after, Isaiah won HOH, and together we finally removed Andrew as the biggest threat left in the game. Then I won final 4 HOH to secure my spot in the final 3, and was sitting next to Zoe, who I knew I could push over me for Isaiah to take me over her. Strategically, I won 2 HOHs and effectively 2 vetoes, was nominated 3 times, and never sat as a final nominee until the final 3. The only player to achieve that this season. I was the only house guest to be saved by someone else using the veto. It only happened twice this game, and it was for me. They saved me with the veto, and that never got clocked by other people. We never got targeted for it, and it showed the strength of my social relationships, even beyond my closest allies in the game. Throughout the game, I voted correctly every time. I maintained strong alliances, influenced key decisions, and consistently positioned myself where outcomes benefited my game. Shout out to all of the strong women this season. Shout out Isaiah for making the end with me. Shout out Scott and Steven for hosting a great season. I played strategically, socially, and competitively, and I hope you guys recognize that complete game when considering your winner. Thank you. Ooh, I got
And
into
thank
it.
you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel. All righty, everybody. Isaiah and Rachel, thank you for a wonderful finale performance. Your job in this game is now officially over. To the 8 jurors that have so kindly decided to grace us with your presence, I now pass it over to you. In just a moment, not just yet, you will be sent to your diary rooms to cast a vote for the winner. To clarify and specify, the name of the person that you type will be who you want to win BBSS 19. When you are casting your vote, we sent this to the jury chat the other day, but we ask you to vote for the person that you feel will best represent this season. Whatever that means to you is how we would love for you to cast your vote. Stephen, do you have anything to add before we get the vote started here?
I do not. I just also wanted to say that we did get in contact with Bryce and he did cast his vote for a winner. So if there's any questions about that, he did cast his vote. I don't have anything else to say, but jury, now is the time for you to go to your diary room one final time and to cast
Yes,
a vote
as
for
you
a
are
winner.
casting your votes, please stay muted here and do not talk. Once we have all of them, you are welcome to chat here without revealing your votes. We'll be back with the results shortly.
Good luck, Rachel.
Good luck.
Guys, my train's finally here. Finally get back to the city.
All right, everybody, the votes are all in. Scott and I are going to work on tallying them and making our winner graphic. You are all free to unmute and speak to each other. We just ask that nobody reveals who they voted for as we get ready for the reveal. And maybe and hopefully a few of our prior friends from the season will be joining us shortly to watch the winner reveal.
Hey.
Hi. Thank you for saying something. It was so awkward.
I know,
No, I
I
know,
wanted to,
right?
but I didn't know what to say.
I unmuted and then I remuted. I was like, I don't know. Oh my god.
Who do we think's pulling up?
Oh my god,
Hopefully
who is gonna pull
Helene.
up?
Oh my god.
Like,
Is
I
that how
didn't
you say
text
her
her.
name? Was it Helene?
Isn't it Helene? Yeah,
I
like
thought it was Helene,
Helene.
girl.
Like,
That's just, and
That's
that
just
was
it's
your biggest regret.
Helene.
Like, please.
no, that's just how I've said that to her face and like she's never corrected me.
I'm pretty sure it's Helene.
Whatever, Helene.
Oh, please. Ugh. Who else do I home? Oh my god, maybe Emma will pull up.
Sorry, the season.
Oh my god.
I did
You
not
see
even text
Mohammed.
her the link to join, by the way. So she will not be pulling up.
Oh, damn. What if Mohammed comes back? That's a
I
flashback.
hope. I loved Mohammed.
I wish Muhammad and Bryce were here. I just want to see what would be happening.
I know.
I just know Bryce would have thrown a party when he saw me enter the damn Zoom.
Oh no.
Oh,
And I-
he would have been jumping, cheering,
I
screaming,
think
like
like
you're
his
lucky he
face would have been
wasn't
like,
here. Yeah, you're honestly lucky he wasn't here to like rub it in. Like he would have like taken your face, hit you in the like.
I'm like, I've been saying he has the voodoo doll.
And you know what? Zoe ate. I wish we got a chance to plead to Bryce though. Like, who the hell he vote for?
I know. I was like, I wonder what he voted based on. I was thinking
I
that.
don't know. If he's the deciding vote and we didn't get to talk to him, I'll be like, huh, great. Thanks for listening to me yap a lot, guys. Sorry if we were being boring.
Wait, so what was like the final 3 HOH? Is it like you had to guess what the jury like said, like quotes from the
Well,
season
you
or
guys,
something?
did you guys say? Oh no, it
Part
was
3, you mean? Like
yeah.
of the final?
Any. I mean, I guess part 3 is usually
It was
like
terrible. If you
Part
can
3
imagine.
Part 3 for the final HH was like 3 statements about each juror's game. 1 was false. And you had to say which was false. And it was like tricky, very tricky questions.
I think they were easy.
Were any of the end of the comms trivia about the game?
Like all of them.
Like yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
yeah.
Final,
I was
final.
like, if I make like final 6, I'll start going back and making notes. But I was like, before then, I'm not doing it. But I was like,
Oh,
if
I
I make like
should've-
final 6, then I'll start.
I should have said in my speech, I got Isaiah's notes. I leached
Oh,
off of
no,
his notes.
those weren't my real notes. Those were my fake notes.
Oh,
And
thank you for your fake notes.
actually, wait, I never told you this. The notes that you gave me also weren't my real notes. I had a spreadsheet that was color coded of everything that happened.
I knew you probably had more, but still, you gave me the outline, so it saved me like an hour
Yeah.
or 2 of my time. So, thank you.
I was like, she's gonna get them anyways. I'll give her like the harder to process version.
Yeah, I was gonna eventually go back, but I was like, not if I don't make it far enough because I don't
I
waste my time. I
know.
would waste my time, Jeff.
No, I literally said after the final 3 HOH, I was like, I am burning these notes. I'm so tired of them. Like, I'm so tired of these notes.
No, me too. Like these the trivia has been like stressing me so much. Like I was just like, oh my god, I need to know this shit.
Yeah, it's
And
like, how many times did this person play in a veto competition? I don't know.
I feel like the best way to prep is just basically copy the wiki, but for our season, basically.
True.
that's kind of what I did. It was like I had a spreadsheet, and then I had like it went like week 1, and then it had like the day next to it, and then it was like HOH named like HOH competition, and then I had who got second in like every competition, and it just went down like vote counts, counting everything, and then I had the statistics on the bottom, and the veto players for every veto competition also on the bottom.
That's so funny that you gave me fake. You're like left. Because I also like when you gave me them too, I made a copy and and then I just like added more of my own stuff like without you seeing. Ryan, is your last name Bean? Like a jelly bean?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. Like I'm sure my like great ancestors were bean farmers down the road somewhere.
That must be it.
It must be. It's the only way.
Did you guys like your comics?
Oh my God.
I didn't.
Isaiah, I felt like yours
You
was
should
like
love yours, Isaiah, please.
only if you were there you knew that one.
Yeah, I
No,
didn't get it. I
literally.
did not get it because I was not in that video. I was
Oh,
like,
I
having
didn't think
to
about that. I guess
explain
you
to
weren't in that video.
people.
You're like, what the fuck is this?
I was like, what? Loney?
Loney.
I just thought they didn't know what else to put because I was like, what does this mean?
That's how it felt for who was it? What's her name?
Helen?
Helen.
Helen.
I was like, girl, they put a random ass moment from the Discord where she ran the.
I'm not
That
gonna
was
lie.
my
I'm like,
favorite
girl, okay,
one.
I'm making stuff
I
up
love
for her.
that
No,
one.
I love that one.
I
That
love
one,
that one.
that one got me the win in the final 4
Whose was
HOH
it?
against Zoe. It was like a question about the phrase on it
Oh, for whose?
Um,
for Kellen's,
Oh,
but
okay. Like,
Oh, I
hurts
will.
to
I'm
eat.
not gonna lie. When I went through the comics, like Kellen's didn't have her name like on the comic, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" I did
I
not
love
know.
her, Kellen.
Some of them I was like that. No, Justin's, yours confused me so much. I was like, why did Justin never tell me he had a twin?
Yeah,
Girl,
wait, what was that? I didn't get mine either. What was the
it's
joke on
because you
that? Like,
went on the
Double
double.
eviction.
oh,
That was
okay,
not that
sure.
hard to get.
I didn't know. I was like, I don't know where the twin came from, but sure. I was like, mine, they
No,
really
no,
had
I
no
didn't
idea what
I
to
didn't
put
get it either.
because
I was like, what?
I didn't get it.
Justin playing the twin twist. I know.
Right? I was like, I'm like, was there like a rumor? I was like, I don't but
Jen,
I
I
loved
thought
it.
yours was cute, like with like the joystick, Jen. Like
I love that. That
that
was
was
funny.
Yeah,
really
hers was cute.
cute.
And yours was cute too, Rachel, the teacher one.
That was really
Party
funny.
teacher because I
I
like
also
slept through the vote.
That's so funny.
I also love Zoe's with like the running and because it's like, oh my
Yes.
God, that girl, the dedication she put into you
Mhm.
snooze, you
I
lose.
had the cutest one. Like, and I'll say it. Like
Yours was
to me, she had the cutest colors.
ready to start her day.
I somehow had a beard. I don't.
Right.
Crazy.
Andrew, like literally yours, I was laughing, distracted playing comics. I was like battle ass. Like it was corny. Like I literally like
Andrew, you did that in like crazy quick time. I don't know how you did that.
I was like between watching Glee. I was watching like the I was watching
I know that's
like,
right. I know that's right.
I was like, okay, let me pick myself up, and then also watching the actual BB comic and being like, okay, I have to spot differences. I'm just gonna go and then like basically point everything out and then look at the video.
No,
And that was my
because
process.
and that I was so high when I did that, and Zoe got so mad at me.
You
No, and
flipped
he
out.
texted me like, "You're not gonna be happy with me," and I immediately texted him, "Did you get high and max out?" I knew it.
It wasn't the smartest moment, but like I don't think I was winning anyways. And know what really got me is when I timed out, he was like, "Here's your mistake," and I just had them in the wrong order within the like thing. And I was so mad because like I just didn't think about focusing on that, but I still wouldn't have won, like I said.
No, Andrew beat me, but I felt like I did it really fast. Like I did it and I was like,
You felt like you did really good for like so many competitions. I'd be like, "How'd you do?" And you'd be like, "Oh, I think I won." And then you wouldn't win.
at least I never timed out.
Oh, that was unnecessary. At least I've always voted on time.
Ah, it was 420. Okay, we shouldn't have had a session on 420. That's a holiday. Like,
I think also one of the other parts of the season was that fucking hour sun challenge where you had to send emojis every minute.
Oh, golden
That
hour.
was the
Golden
worst
hour.
thing
I was so
I
glad
have
I didn't play
ever.
that.
terrible.
Wait, you had to send an emoji every minute?
Yes,
No,
and
no,
like
not
every
just an
minute
emoji.
based on a code, and it had to do with prime numbers and some random ass thing I've never
Yeah,
heard of
whatever the
before.
fuck that code was, the
And
Amarachi
like
code. I don't even know.
That's horrible.
it was terrible.
Okay, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
All right. Well, welcome, Helene, our only preacher who wanted to join.
Hey.
Oh no, my
Please.
AirPods just died.
Yes,
That's not exciting.
yes. Oh my
See, Isaiah,
God,
you
my
said her name
Yeah.
wrong.
sister, Helene, whatever.
Okay, Isaiah, now.
Alrighty, everybody. Well, welcome back. The votes are cast and the season is officially done. Before we reveal the votes on behalf of Stephen and I, and I'm sure Stephen will also give his thoughts in just a second. So on behalf of me especially, because Stephen will talk, thank you so much for playing this season. BBSS really is like been such a joy and passion of Stephen and I, and we have met so many great and incredible people over these last now almost just over 6 years, which is absolutely wild to say. So much community and friendship has come from this, and we are so excited that you all are now a part of that. So keep in touch, come to New York, come to Boston, and we're excited to have you in beyond the season 19 world of BBSS. Stephen, your thoughts?
Yes, seconding all of that. I also want to say thank you to everyone, especially the people who have been here for a long time. This has been a long 32 days, and I know it's taxing to host, but I know it's even more challenging to be mentally and psychologically a part of it for 32 days. So thank you everyone for giving it what you've got. We really do love everybody who is on this Zoom call currently right now. And someone else that we love too. Sorry. Is joining. Vince, we are just about to reveal the winner. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Thank you. We're just doing our thank yous to everyone this season. Again, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to read the votes for a winner. Isaiah and Rachel, these are the votes to be the winner of Big Brother SS19. To be clear, you want to see your name on these keys, as you need 5 of them to win the game.
Isaiah, hold my hand.
Here
Good luck.
we
Good luck. It's
go.
a good winner regardless.
Alrighty. We are starting off with Kayla. And Kayla has cast her vote for Isaiah to be the winner of Big Brother. That is 1 vote. Isaiah.
Bryce has cast his vote over text message for Isaiah to be the winner of Big Brother. And he also noted that he was not voting for Zoe to win Big Brother because he did not know who it was. Anyway.
Alrighty. That is currently 2 votes, Isaiah. Moving on to Ryan. Ryan has cast his vote for Rachel to be the winner of Big Brother. That is 2 votes, Isaiah. 1 vote, Rachel.
Jen has cast her vote for Isaiah to be the winner of Big Brother. That is 3 votes for Isaiah, 1 vote for Rachel.
Alrighty. Justin has cast his vote for Rachel to be the winner of Big Brother. We are sitting at 3 votes for Isaiah, 2 votes for Rachel. It takes 5 to win.
Trista has cast her winning vote for Isaiah to be the winner of Big Brother. We have 4 votes for Isaiah, 2 here for Rachel. Again, it takes 5 to win.
Moving on to Andrew. Andrew has cast his vote for Rachel to be the winner of Big Brother. We are currently sitting at 4 votes for Isaiah, 3 votes for Rachel.
Adrian has cast his vote for Rachel to be the winner of Big Brother. We are tied. 4 votes for Isaiah, 4 votes for Rachel. It all comes down to Zoe's vote.
It all comes down to Zoe. Zoe currently is one of 3 people that knows who has won BBSS 19. It's time to share with the rest of the world. Zoe has cast her vote for
Congratulations, Rachel!
Oh my God.
You are the winner
Oh,
of Big Brother.
oh my God. Oh my God.
Congrats, Rachel.
Thank you
Congrats.
so much. Oh my God. Thank you.
Rachel.
Thank you.
From our end, and we will talk more once the live has ended, of course. But a very impressive win. Really showcasing the under the radar strategic and social positioning. So a job well done, very well deserved. Before we wrap things up and can discuss further, though, there is one more award to give out for the evening, and that is production's favorite house guest. Stephen and I have talked for a very long time about this award. And by that, I mean in the time that we tallied these votes. However, we have decided that the top 3, in no particular order, are Helene, also known as
Well, girl, you're the only one.
Elaine. Jen. Frozen. I'm frozen. Am I back? Am I back? Am I back?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, what?
I'm back. What have we heard so far? Have we heard anything?
Helene and Jen.
Helene.
And then
Oh,
Jen.
Helene, Jen, and Zoe are our top 3 in the production's favorite running. Steven.
And we did extensively talk about everyone a lot, actually, to decide. But we have decided that production's favorite house guest goes to Jen. Congratulations, Jen. You were production's favorite house guest this season. Thank you so much to everyone who participated this season. Rachel, a huge congratulations. Isaiah, also a huge congratulations for second place with 4 votes. Great job this season, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll sign off here. We'll see the crew who watches us on YouTube again for Big Brother SS Season 20. I would say apply, but there's no need. But when casting opens again, please feel free to reach out if you're interested in playing. Scott, anything else?
No, I don't think so. Another one done. And thank you all so much.